Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do for this project is I'm going to go ahead and make the side profile of the container. That way we'll be able to revolve it later. Okay, so you'll see I've gone ahead and made the side profile. I've made these wall thicknesses all equal. And I've also made this lip here, which is going to be where the screw part is. And I've left this dimension independent of the other ones, just so I can change it later if I need. Just make sure you have all of the dimensions you need, making the sizes you'd like. And yeah, that way this sketch will be locked in and you won't be able to change anything without intending to later. So let's finish sketch. And now we're going to go and use the revolve tool on this profile. And click OK. Looking at our box, maybe the opening to the hole is a bit small, so we can go ahead and fix that with the dimensions that we have now. We can make this 5 if we'd like. That should make the opening a bit larger. And it also looks like it's quite tall. It might be hard to grab things out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a bit shorter as well. That looks quite good to me. This is going to be a pretty small container. And the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll show you how to make the lid. So we're going to start with a sketch on this edge. This will be the lip of the bottom part of our container, and we want the lid to go down over that lip. So we'll start here. And all we have to do is create that sketch and click finish, because that will allow us to extrude upwards with this section. So I'm going to look at my bodies and I'm going to extrude this upwards. How I'm going to do it is I'm going to do the to object extent type and do it to the very top of our original body. But instead of making it a join operation, it's going to be a new body. And I'm going to click OK. You'll see that way there's a new body in our body section on the left menu. And from there we just have to close up this lid. So to do that, I'm going to, for a second, make this first body invisible, and then I'm going to start a sketch on this top face. I'll just finish the sketch. Now I can select the inner circle and the outer circle, and I can extrude it, let's say 3, to make a lid. This will be the join operation. Okay, so you'll see that I have our 2 bodies made, the base and the lid. For the next tip, what I'm going to show you is how to see inside of this shape. To do that, we're going to go to the inspect menu and we're going to use the section analysis tool. For that, we're going to need to choose a plane, so I'm going to go ahead and choose this one, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's either this or this. And you'll notice that the section analysis tool cuts along that plane. So we can do OK, and it lets you see inside. An important note though is that this is a tool for viewing your piece, and it doesn't actually physically cut the body. You'll notice there's an analysis menu on your left, and if you toggle that off, you'll see your body has stayed completely the same, but you can toggle it on to see your section analysis. Okay, moving on, we're going to go ahead and add the threads. So to do that, we're going to keep this section analysis view on, and I'm going to start by making the threads on the first body. To do that, I'm going to go to the create menu, find the thread tool, and I'm just going to select this face, that's the lip. And I'll show you a few of the settings. Here we have modeled or unmodeled. If you don't model it, it's just kind of going to show you this, these bumps. And by doing this, you can tell that it is a threaded piece. However, your computer and the program doesn't use a lot of its computing power to make all the calculations to actually figure out what this would look like and what it would be. In our case, because we don't have a lot of screws or a very big file, we can leave it unmodeled. But if you are making many things, you would want to keep it on this unmodeled setting. The next setting here is full length. You can decide how far you want your threads to go, so they might not go all the way, they might only go at the top. But for us, we want it to be full length, so we'll keep that checked. Next is the thread type, and these are just different standards of different threads. For you, you won't really have to worry about this for this project, as long as you keep the thread type the same. I'm going to keep it at this setting, and the next thing is size. Size is simply the size of the circular face that you chose. For us, it's this kind of cylindrical ring, but you can always change the size, and note if you do that, that is going to change your body size as well. So we're going to keep ours at 48. The next thing is the designation, and just going through these settings, you'll see as you click these different settings and the second number gets smaller, you'll notice that you have many more threads. Now the M48 just stands for the size, and the second number indicates the pitch, and it is the distance between our threads. For our case, I'm going to choose this 3. Finally is the class. You also won't have to worry too much about that, as long as you keep the setting the same, similarly with the thread type. And the direction, right hand is also standard direction for which way you can screw it. And yeah, you also don't have to worry about that. One thing you will want to do though is to check this remember size. That means when we next use the thread tool, it'll keep these settings the same. So we'll click OK. So now we've modeled both of our threads. You'll notice we have problem here. It looks like our threads are overlapping. You can see this kind of overlapping section with our section analysis on, and I'll be showing you how to fix this. To do this, we're going to go ahead and use the move tool. I'm going to use it on the lid, but it doesn't really matter which, as long as you move it revolving around the center. So I just click the center of this lid, and now I'm going to drag this rotate button, and I'm just going to drag it slowly until I see the threads align. See right here, it looks like it's doing pretty good. We can look from the correct face and we can keep trying to rotate it, but just make sure that you get it as aligned as possible. You can also change the setting here if it's easier to use. And you'll notice we can get a fairly aligned position with our threads just by adjusting this value. Now the reason why we can simply rotate our pieces and get the threads to align is actually pretty intuitive. So you know when you have like a medicine bottle or something you screw on, even a water bottle, you know you can't just put the lid at any direction onto your container and expect it to close. You have to slowly turn it until you can find the place where the threads start, and then they can begin interlocking like this. So that's just why we needed to rotate it a little bit to fix it. So we're going to click OK, and now we are almost complete. The last thing we have to do is, if we were to print this, 3D print this, what we would want to do is to make sure that this gap between the threads isn't too tight. And in order to do that, let's go ahead and toggle off the lid, and we would go to modify, and we can select the offset face tool. Now the offset face tool is very similar to the extrude tool, but you use it more for adjusting small things like this. So for example, I'm going to take this bottom face, and I'm going to rotate up and also take the top face, and I'm going to offset both of these by -0.1. You'll see that becomes 0.1 smaller, and if we toggle on our lid, you'll see if this distance were 0, there's not much of a gap, but if we make it -0.1, the gap increases. And this will mean with our 3D printer and it making very small errors, we'll still be able to screw on the lid, so it won't be super tight as well. Now this exact number that you use will depend on your 3D printer. I use the Bamboo Labs A1 mini printer, but you'll have to figure out how precise your printer is and If you find that it doesn't work after you print it, you can always increase this number like to -0.2 or 0.3, but you'll have to make sure it works with your thread sizes as well. So we'll click OK. And now we can get rid of our section analysis. We can just toggle it off, and you'll see we have our screw lid container complete.